A faith that refused to panic. She never prayed out loud for a miracle. She never cried in public. She never asked God to notice her. And yet, her life became the stage for one of the most unsettling restorations in Scripture. A woman who prepared before she was promised. A mother who lost what she never demanded. And a faith that chose movement over mourning. This is the story of the Shunammite woman. Not as it is usually told, but as it was lived. A woman who watched first. Shunem was not a destination. It was a place people passed through. Dusty roads cut through the land, carrying traders, travelers, soldiers, messengers, prophets. Most people came and went without leaving a mark. But the Shunammite woman noticed patterns. She noticed one man who passed more than once. A prophet, quiet, focused, carrying himself like someone who listened more than he spoke. Elisha. She watched him arrive hungry. Leave tired. Return again. She didn't interrupt him with questions. She didn't announce herself with offerings. She simply said, "Please eat." Hospitality was not rare, but discernment was. Over time, she became certain of something she could not prove. This man is holy. Not famous, not impressive, holy. That realization alone changed how she acted next. Making room without a promise. One meal became many. Many became a habit. And then she made a decision that cost her something. She spoke to her husband. Let us build him a small room on the roof. Not a guest mat on the floor. Not temporary space. A room. Permanent. Prepared, intentional, a bed, a table, a chair, a lamp. These details matter. She didn't decorate for comfort. She furnished for purpose. A bed for rest. A table for work. A chair for study. A lamp for light. She was not hosting a man. She was making space for what he carried. And she did this without a single promise in return. This is where her story separates from most faith stories. She prepared for God before God ever spoke, the question that exposed her silence. Elisha noticed. Consistency always reveals itself. One day he turned to Gehazi. "What can we do for her?" That question is dangerous because it assumes the giver has needs. Elisha offered influence. To the king? To the army commander? She declined calmly. "I live among my own people." Translation, I'm not climbing. I'm not desperate. I'm not seeking leverage. Then Gehazi said the thing she never said out loud. She has no son, and her husband is old. That sentence carries years of unspoken grief. Barrenness in that time was not just personal pain. It was social erasure, economic insecurity, a future with no protection. And yet she never used her service as currency. So when Elisha called her and spoke the promise, it didn't feel like joy. It felt like risk. "At this time next year you will hold a son." Her response was sharp. "No, my lord. Do not lie to your servant." That wasn't unbelief. That was self-protection. She had survived by managing expectations. She knew what hope could do when it dies again. But the word stood, and life followed. The miracle that became normal. The child grew, which is often overlooked. We imagine miracles frozen in glory, but real miracles grow into routines. He laughed. He ran. He called her mother. The miracle became daily life. And one day, without ceremony, without warning, death walked into the house. The day everything broke. The boy went to the field. The sun was strong, the air heavy. He cried out, "My head!" Pain, sudden, violent. They carried him home. She held him. No prayers recorded, no cries written. Just waiting. Until noon. Then the child stopped breathing. The miracle was gone. And now comes the most disturbing part of the story. She did not bury him. Where she took the dead thing, she carried her son up the stairs, step by step, into the room she had built before she ever knew she would need it. She laid him on the prophet's bed. Not her bed, not the floor, the place where God's presence had rested. She closed the door. This was a decision. She chose where the story would end. "It is well" was not denial. When she spoke to her husband, she did not explain. She asked for transportation, urgency without drama. When questioned, she said, "It is well." That phrase has been misunderstood for centuries. It was not faith pretending nothing was wrong. It was faith refusing to waste time explaining death to someone who could not reverse it. She knew exactly where she was going. The ride that held her together. The journey to Mount Carmel was long. Dust clung to her clothes. Wind burned her eyes. She did not scream. She did not collapse. She moved. Faith sometimes looks like motion when emotion would stop you. When Elisha saw her coming, he felt it immediately. Something was wrong. Gehazi asked the right questions. She gave the same answer. It is well. Until she reached the one person who could confront God about this. Then she broke. The first time she spoke her pain. Did I ask you for a son? Did I not tell you not to deceive me? This was not accusation. This was grief, finally allowed to speak. Elisha understood. This was not a moment for sermons. This was a moment for presence. The closed door miracle. No crowd, no audience. The door shut. Prayer, stretching, silence. Nothing. Again. And then 7 sneezes. Life returning slowly. Eyes opening. Restoration does not always arrive explosively. Sometimes it stutters back into existence. She bowed. She picked up her son. She left. No speech recorded, because some testimonies are too heavy for language. The long obedience after the miracle. Years later, famine came. She obeyed immediately. Left everything. 7 years passed. When she returned, everything was gone. Land, income, security. But obedience had already positioned her. Her story arrived before she did. The king restored everything. Not because she demanded, but because timing aligned only God could orchestrate. Why this story is different. She never chased miracles. She prepared space. She never panicked publicly. She moved deliberately. She never denied pain. She carried it to the right place. If you think faith always looks loud, this story corrects you. If you think obedience must come with explanations, this story challenges you. And if you want more biblical stories like this, subscribe now.